What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Serie career mode. It is episode number 15, we are back. It is a brand new season as our third year in Udine gets underway with a starting budget of 28 million. But it's going to go up a little bit once we advance one day in the calendar, because we are going to see the sale of Wallace going through, and that should give us a budget of now, 33 million. So it's not a great deal more, but it is a little bit more. So a starting budget of around, with wage budget considerations, yeah, I'd say 31 million euros. And I'd definitely say that's realistic too. I'm happy with that. And just so you know, I have agreed to loan out Riccardo Romano to Salernitana for a couple of years. We'll keep an eye on him there alongside De Luca. So this is our team for season 3. It's safe to say Udinese have been on the Ozempic, because this is an incredibly thin squad. There's very little depth to it. Obviously, because we're not in Europe for this season, we don't need to worry too much about having a massively thick squad. And to be fair, I still can't believe this, but 2 years in, the elephant in the room is that we haven't really had many injuries. Okay, Christensen went down with the ACL towards the end of season 1. We had a couple of minor injuries last season, but no noteworthy ones. So it's a small squad. We're not too worried about that. However, we definitely will need to improve as Gashi still retains that potential to be special. If we are to do what we know the board are going to ask of us this season, actually I'm going to check out the objectives now, which is to qualify for a European competition. We didn't do that last year, but the board weren't too disappointed because we are off the pitch objectives. But this year, that will be my aim. Last year, I wanted top 7. I wanted top 7. I wanted top 10, sorry. We got it with a 9th place finish. That was a good year in my opinion. But for this season, I want to take the next level. I want to take the next step up. Okay, we've now broken into the top 10. That was our plan last year. We've done it. This year, I want top 7. We only missed out on it on the final day last season, as Querfeld still shows great potential. For this year, I want to make sure we take that next step. So it's going to be top 7, as Prati has now gone up to exciting prospect. You love to see that. So that will be my aim. And if we're going to do that, it's not quantity we need. It's quality. We are still a 4-star team, as Roberto is going to retire at the end of the season, the current club captain. Yeah, we don't worry about the lack of squad depth here, as Novak has come back with the exciting prospect tag. I'm going to try and loan him out again, though. And, Profundi, yes, I love to see that. Assist title winner last year has now had a potential upgrade to potential to be special. You love to see that. So yeah, don't worry about the lack of numbers here, as Gashi retains his potential to be special. We just need to make sure we get in 1 or 2 players with real first-team quality that can make the difference and get us into a top 7 place. And in terms of players, the deals come the end of the year. James Abankwa, who's come back from loan, and Pereira, who's, of course, retiring at the end of the season as well. So I'll probably let James go on a free transfer. We can't really raise any money through selling him, so I might as well just keep him for the squad and let him go on a free come the end of the season. But in terms of sales, other than Banda and Scuffet, who both came in January last season, and funnily enough, both said they weren't getting the game time, so they want to leave, we'll probably see them both leave after both submitting transfer requests. But outside of those two going, I don't think we'll see any big sales whatsoever. I want to keep the band together, keep the squad together, keep it growing nicely as a core, and just look to bring in 1 or 2 star players for the first team. Because Scuffet is likely to leave this summer in this transfer window, that being the case, I'll need a backup goalkeeper for the Gash, who will stay as our number 1. And what's better than a freebie, right? Samuel Parizan, out of the Udinese Academy, means he's homegrown as well. And all I want here is a goalkeeper that, unlike Scuffet, is just going to come in and say, yeah, I'll sit on the bench. I'll sit on the bench, no problem whatsoever. And Samuel, again, out of the Udinese Academy, which means that he's homegrown and trained by the club as well, which, even though we're not in Europe right now, is something we need to worry about when we do reach Europe for the squad registration rules. On a low contract, knows his role as a backup, and at 27, he's not going to retire for a few years either as well. So really, it's just a perfect little signing. Parizan returning to Udinese. Yeah, no need to read much into this, honestly. Just a player that will understand his role now as a backup. Because Scuffet, again, is almost definitely going to leave this window. And I've said this before, I don't mind when players hand in transfer requests if it's situation specific. Simone is, 5 ratings higher than the Gash, and we brought him in and told him he'd be an important important squad player. So the fact last season he was on the bench for the Albanian, I'm totally fine with handing in a transfer request. But again, Paris, and it will just take his place. And because goalkeepers don't get injured in CM, now they've removed training injuries. If you want, you can just have one goalkeeper, and the chances are very, very high that won't cause you an issue. You know, that goalkeeper won't get injured or too tired to play. But just, you know, for the realism and for the peace of mind, it's always good to have a backup. So Samuel knows his role just as a backup. And so straight away after my first advance, I got a few big bids, including one for Gashi's bro, back from his loan spell. Sociedad want to take him, but of course he's going nowhere permanently. Stade Brestois want to take Boutin. That's interesting. They don't want to transfer this, but I don't actually mind selling him, to be fair, for over-market valuation. We are looking for a new left-sided player this season, and Valencia want to take Simone Scaffet. But even though he is on the transfer list, I said this before, like when a player is requested a transfer, but you notice they've still got, you know, quite a few years left in their deal, you don't need to be held to ransom by that player. You've got plenty of time to worry about getting the right transfer fee for that player. Simone might not be happy about it, but bro, you signed a long-term deal, so unless we get the money we think you're worth, we're not going to sell you. 5 mil though, and he's on his way to the Messiah. I'm okay with that. We've just had a couple of loan offers for Novak, our Slovenian, that came out last year from Monza and grew nicely. We'll try and get them to either Torino or Ajax. Either is fine with me. We should see that Scaffet deal go through, and there we go. So he's on his way to Mestalla for 5 mil. So make a tiny profit on him since bringing him in January. But again, totally fine with this, because Parisien will sit on the bench, but the Gash will remain our number one. So get a bit of money for him, and I'm okay with that. And as we also see that the Boutin deal has gone through, and he's on his way to Stade Brestois in France. Totally fine with that, because I am looking for a new left-sided player as part of our 3-5-2 anyway. And I do have a few names that are on the shortlist to replace him, with our budget now going to just shy of 40 million euros. But there is a player I'm really keen on that I've never used before, even though I've had him on several shortlists in several different career modes, and that is Oscar Dorley. Liberian. Don't think I've ever signed a Liberian player before. When you look at this guy's stats here, I'll be talking about players that fit the system perfectly. This guy does. Tremendous agility and balance, and he's quick with 88 stamina and 81 reactions as well. Excellent ball control. He can cross, he can dribble, he can pass, and he's good enough defensively as well for that left-hand side. Right now at Slavia Prague in the Czech Republic. And if he's even half as good as the greatest Liberian of all time, Weah, then Lord knows we've got ourselves a player. Yes, George Weah. What a legendary player he is. He is, I believe, the only African player that has ever won the Ballon d'Or. And he had a career in politics after he hung up the boots. And he's just a really, really inspirational man. And yeah, if Oscar Dorley is even half as good, then we've got a player here. And I think because of Slavia Prague in the Czech Republic right now, I think we might be able to get him for a round valuation. I don't think his contract's up coming at the end of the year, but I don't think I'd spend much more than that. And that'll still leave us with a little bit of money to work with to try and bring someone else in as well. And there we go, £25 million market valuation. And it looks as though Oscar Dorley will be my first ever player that I signed from Liberia. Yes, I've had this guy on my shortlist so many times before in so many different career modes, but for one reason or another, I just never ended up signing him, but now I have. He fits this system like an absolute glove, and coming in on a 5-year, 30 grand a week deal. I'm really excited to use him for the first time because, again, his stats are really, really handy, both as a DM, a CM, or where I plan to use him, which is on the left-hand side of our 3-5-2. I think a little position change here will do him the world of good. So he took the number 8 jersey originally, but he's not going to get it. That's one thing I wish he would look into, like allowing you to choose a player squad number before the animation starts. He took Prass's number, but he's not having it. He's number 3, so he'll be on the left side for us. Welcome to the Blue Energy Stadium, Oscar Dorley. Yeah, excited to give him a go for the first time ever, man. He's got holes on the attributes, so definitely won't grow anything in the first season, but from next season onwards, I'd imagine with consistent game time, will restart his growth. And again, to me, look at the stats, he's an excellent passer of the ball and defensively solid as well, but I think personally, he would be better on that left-hand side. Even though this will take him 160 weeks to become a left midfielder, this is because his finishing is so low. But instead what we'll do is, I think, we'll convert him to left wing-back first and then try and gradually transition him to LM. Or will we keep him on balanced, actually? Huh. Actually, you know what? That's quite an interesting decision for me. I don't know. I'll think about it, but he'll be on the left-hand side for me, no doubt. Yeah, so we agreed a loan splits for Novak, and you can choose either Turin or Amsterdam. Not a bad choice to have, that, is it, for where you want to play football for a year or two? Yeah, for Oscar Dorley, I do think he'd be better on the left-hand side. I really do. Even though you'll see it might not be officially his best sort of position, I just think in the system, that kind of fits us perfectly. We leaked so many goals last season. We need a better defender on the left-hand side, and Oscar definitely is. I mean, we could possibly move Prass to the left-hand side. I have considered that before, but yeah, to me, I think Dorley would be better on the left-hand side, really, than anywhere else. Although, again, we could have him through the middle as an official DM, as an LDM, if you will. Then Pratty's an RDM, and then possibly drop Prass to the bench and bring in a new left-sided player. I don't know, but I like him on the left-hand side. So our budget now has dropped down quite a bit to just over 10 million euros. I think we'd have to sell Banda first before we do any more signings. So let's advance a few days in the calendar. We'll see where Novak is going, as Monza want Ibosse. I mean, I wasn't planning on selling him, but wouldn't be against it to raise some funds. Well, as we see Novak go out on loan to Torino, we'll keep an eye on him there in Turin. So many players out on loan right now. Again, I wouldn't be against selling Ibosse just for a few mil, because now in his mid-20s, I'm not sure how much better he's going to get. He's 5th choice centre-half behind our current 3 and Christensen 2. Problem is depth, and I know I say we don't need that much depth, but we need enough to make a bench, you know, especially because Banda is definitely going to go, and I might well loan out Gashi once again too. I don't know. I think I might just keep Ibosse for the squad actually. But then again, if we were to sell him, we could add that to our current budget and possibly bring someone else in. If we can get just a little bit more money from Monza, just a little bit here for the Cameroonian, I wouldn't be against letting him go. Let's go 7.25 mil, and if we can get around 7 mil at the lowest, 7.25 mil, I think that money, adding to what we've got, should give us enough for a decent player off the bench here. That was a very quick contract agreed with Monza there. He just wants the first team football, and I'm okay with it. Enzo Ibosse, I'm not sure how much better he's going to get in his mid-20s. Might have grown a rating or two max, but yeah, I'm fine letting him go. With just 2 years left in his deal, we'll take 7.25 million for the Cameroonian international. So our budget now rising on the back of that sale to just over 18.5 million euros. So that should give us just enough money for possibly one decent bench player to come in. Either as a backup midfielder, I'm really primarily thinking, or backup striker, because we still don't have one for Lorenzo Luca. And don't forget, we're still expecting Banda to go at some point. No bids have come in, so I won't look to sign anyone yet. I want to see the conclusion to that Banda deal. But at the moment, no bids are coming in for the Zambian at all. So as things stand, he wants to go, but I can't find a suitor for him at the moment. Although Monza have put another bid in for one of my bench players, Jordan Zamora, who has been starting the past 2 years, now wanted by Monza. 25, starting to grow again, so I think I might just keep him here as the backup for Oscar Dorley. And as for a useful monthly report, there's 3 players in the academy right now. What I might do is give Constantine Frank a pro deal, because he'll probably ask for it at some point during the season, and same with Mattia Bianco as well. When a player is 17 and you start a new season off, there's a good chance they'll A, turn 18 during the season, and B, ask for a pro deal at some point. So in my opinion, it's always best to give them a pro deal before the summer window is over, and then you can loan them out, or play them if you want to. But I think even though we've got a lack of depth here, it would be best just to try and get them loaned out. Mattia is an exciting prospect, so we'll add him to the loan list, and I'd imagine it'll be the same with Constantine. It is indeed. We'll add them both to the loan list and try and get them out. So, first of the month, where are we sending our youth scouts this season then? Well, of course, one will remain in Italy, as always, looking for those homegrown talents near and around Udine. But where are the other 2 going? Well, we've done quite well staying close to Udine, looking at neighbouring countries with Slovenia and Albania. Obviously just done Austria as well. I'm thinking if we do stick to that philosophy, I mean, there's a few nations we could go for really. And you know, I was so impressed with Romania at these Euros, by the way. They were so brave. They played some really, really good football. I rarely ever scout Romania, And, one thing that really caught my eye is when they exited the competition this week, there was a great picture posted on social media of the way they left the dressing room. Spotless. They cleaned up after themselves, absolutely spotless. And they also left a note thanking Germany for hosting the Euros. And I just thought that was a wonderful, wonderful gesture there as well. So with that being the case, I'm going to look for a Romanian. And, that's a strong character to do something like that. Well, they don't need to, but choosing to do so. So let's look for some physically strong Romanians here and see what we can get in these 9 months. And please don't come for me. I know Romania is not a bordering country of Italy. My geography's not that bad. But I guess it's not that far. It's still in the same continent. But speaking of neighbouring countries, to be fair, we've had some success doing this. And, we haven't actually scouted Switzerland yet. And Switzerland are a neighbouring country of Italy, particularly in the north as well. And so with that being the case, Switzerland playing England today in the Euros, another nation that's really impressed me within these Euros, knocking out Italy, of course, in the week as well. And to be fair, over the days, I've had a few decent players from Switzerland too, including Gökhan Inler. Remember him? I wouldn't mind that. Switzerland looking for maybe the next Inler or Xherdan Shaqiri, technically gifted Swiss player. Let's go with that. So yeah, Switzerland, Romania, two nations that really impressed me in this year's Euros and continue to stay in Italy, looking for homegrown talents as well. Let's see what we pick up this year. I'm going to turn down that bid for Jordan Zamur as well. It's a low transfer offer for a decent player who might now be dropping to the bench, but he started to grow again, and last season had a really good year for us too, so I'm going to keep him here. Again, we still got a bit of money remaining as now Monza. Guys, seriously, there are other clubs you can get players from, you don't have to sign all of our players. But I don't mind Constantine going there on a 2-year loan deal. We've still got some money in the budget, but I think what I might do is just play the first game of the season, see how we get on, and after the season ticket money comes in, we'll probably only get a couple of million. Then we'll look to reinvest in a new player for the squad as well. At the moment, I'm liking the team. We've added to the talent of Oscar Dorley, new backup goalkeeper to replace Simone, but the big thing right now is that still no bids have came in for Banda, and that is really surprising. So as things stand, he's staying here because I can't find him a club. As Lons actually put a transfer offer in for Bianco, but of course going to turn that one down and try and loan him out instead. Yeah, I'm really surprised by that. I mean, Simone got a bid literally in like 2 days, and yet Banda hasn't had a single offer yet, which is really surprising. I don't quite understand why. Sometimes I know if you don't have enough squad depth in a position, then clubs won't put bids in. AI clubs won't put bids in to leave you light in that position. But we have got enough depth in that position. So that's quite surprising that as Burnley want to take Matteo Bianco. But I'm okay with that as long as you go somewhere and get some first team football. So for now, yeah, looks as though Banda's going to be staying for the season as a bid comes in for Christensen. I did say I wouldn't be against selling him. 4th choice centre-half, 23 years old, 75 overall. But I think because of the lack of the squad depth, I probably need to keep him here. Otherwise, we won't have enough for a bench, basically. And so, as we just agreed, 2 loan deals there. Constantine Frank to Monza. And Bianco, in the end, chose to go to Montpellier in Ligue 1 for a couple of years. After the season ticket money has just come in as well, our budget now has risen to, again, pretty much right on the dot, 20 million euros. Problem is, in modern day football, it doesn't get you far, and, well, I did say that quantity wasn't really a concern. I mean, like I said, we do need enough to make sure we do make a bench, that's for sure. So I might have to bring in like 1 or 2 freebies here, or possibly even recall players from loan, just to make sure we do have enough cover if worse comes to worse. Has anyone had like overall spikes yet? Because if they have, I might look to bring them back. Esposito's gone up by 1. I'm not going to recall Romano, who's just gone out on loan. I'll think about it. I'll think about it, because that's my big concern, really. We get to like October time, we get a couple of broken toes, and I ain't got enough to make a bench, and I've got to forfeit games. That's my only real concern right now. So, yeah, I mean, there is enough money for a new signing as well, but I don't want to make that one just yet. I want to wait until just close to deadline day and see if any deals come available. Well, let's play the first game of the season and see how we get it anyway. Obviously, this season, once again, board saying last 16 in the cup, just like we did last year, but this year, qualify for a European competition. We failed to do that last season, did finish in the top 7 again this year. I want to take the next step, and that is going to be top 7. Last year, Lazio were a top 4 team and won the Coppa Italia as well, so tough game to start off with away in Rome. First game at the Stadio Olimpico for Udinese. Not sure if anyone saw it as well, with Lazio lining up with Archie Gray. He's completed his move to Spurs. I think I read the fee was about 35 million. That's crazy for such a young man. But then again, heck of a young talent. Leeds fans know that. And, well, could prove to be a bargain in years to come if he kicks on. I guess we'll see. I always find when like a summer tournament is getting played, again, be it a World Cup, be it a Euros, it's hard to keep track of transfers. Like when moves go through, it's hard to keep track of them. Like the Dewsbury Hall deal to Chelsea. Like you sort of missed them. Do you know what I mean? You're like, hang on a minute, when did he sign for that club? You know, and then you realised it was happening whilst one of the games you were watching was going on. But even so, I guess we'll see if he's worth the hype and if Angie can get the best out of him. Castellanos flicks it to Zaccagni. And speaking of English midfielders, Conor Gallagher drills in the opening goal. 1-0 down, 14 minutes in, worst possible start. And then you ask the question, have we improved from last season? Maybe slightly through development of our younger players and the signing of Oscar Dorley as well. But other than that, not improved by much. And with a small transfer budget to work with, you can't be too surprised by that. But dream start. Oscar Dorley, and again, I think personally he's going to be better on that left-hand side. I get it. I understand that CM and CDM will be his better positions based on rating alone, but to me, how often do I say this? The rating's important, but it's not the most important thing. It's where you feel most confident and comfortable using that player. To me, Dorley looks best on that left-hand side of the range of stats he's got, both defensively and going forward with a great energy as well. Perfect start, justifying a selection on the left-hand side. 1-1 goal on the debut. Naturally, long term, I do want to bring back Destiny Udogie, of course, moving on from Udinese to Spurs. He's one of my favourite players in the Premier League right now. I love watching him play. He's an athlete. He really is. And I'd love to have him back at some point in the future. Oh, great ball! Oh, and Buffon just couldn't pull the trigger. But clearly out of our price range right now, as he's moved back to the Serie anyway. But even so, 35 minutes in, open game. And from corners, you know how good we are from these. We'll be aiming for him. The cheat code headed away. And still 1-1, but definitely another goal in this game, no doubt. With Pras finding Profundi. Dorley. For his second, no, Providel with the save. And push behind for a corner. Somehow, still 1-1. Such an open game this. No doubt about it. No way it finishes 1-1. There's certainly a third goal in this one. As Xhaka heads just over. Where you going, son? Where you going? We had that. Oh, that's a terrible foul. That could be a straight red, you know. That could easily be and it is indeed. Miguel Gutierrez off. Correct decision. Awful foul. And that's one of those where it's like, you know, sometimes refereeing decisions are debatable. I don't think there's any debate to be had there. That's like a 5-game ban worthy one. And I think, do you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to bring Gashi for this. 2 assists last season. 1 came from a free kick, lest we forget. And the Gash chips one in. Headed on. And almost turned in at the far post. Prati was offside anyway. That winner is coming, you know. It's been all Udinese in the second half. Being brave, going for that win. And what a way to start the season it'll be if we can find what would be, I think, a deserved winner as well. Providel kicks it long, but Christensen brought off the bench. The Great Dane's going to win that. Bufundi. Luca. Off the post. And Preti has his shot blocked. Oh, no, I thought Ebersen was going to run around the right. I just gave it back to Thomas Muller. Oh, I'm going to be gutted if we don't win this, man. We're doing a massive 3 points on match day 1. Being a better team out there. Lazio, Conor Gallagher, the goal scorer, takes it short to Vasquez. Straight into Dorley, though. Wants to get... He's had a brilliant game on that left-hand side for us. It's a last chance to win it. Deservedly. He's on. Serie took it on way too early. Way too early. When you talk about missed opportunities, that's how we missed out on the top 7 last season. And it's how we missed out on a win on match day 1 as well. Missed opportunities. I don't know how I didn't win that game. Playing with a man advantage for most of it. But I say I don't know how I didn't win it. I know how I didn't win it. Chance after chance. Simply couldn't finish it. Build-ups were fine. Creativity was nice. Finishing just was not there. Disappointing way to start, man. Should have had 3 points there. But that'll do it for today's episode of the Serie A Career Mode, guys. So big thank you for watching. I really hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then please do drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day. I will return in the next one with more games in the Serie A. The final week of the summer window, and with 20 million in the budget, I'm expecting at least a couple more signings before deadline day is over. Have a fantastic day, guys. Much love to you all, and I'll see you for the next episode very soon.